Hello, dear friends, and we are welcoming Luke Michael Ironside, Director of the Theosophical Studies Virtual Center.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be joining us from today. So once again, this month, we are gathered to continue our studies into the Secret Doctrine. As we have learnt over the past number of months that we've been studying this work, by gathering together in a group, we are able to expand our own awareness and our own understanding of some of the key concepts in the text. We're able to enrich our knowledge through a shared discussion and through a shared presentation of these fundamental teachings. And we are able to take this away and reflect upon it in the gap between each of our study sessions each month to bring back an enriched knowledge the next month. It's been a very successful project so far, with people joining us from many countries around the world. The reach has been such that we've had people joining us from Russia, from the Philippines, Singapore, Moldova, Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, the United States, Bolivia, Nigeria, India, Japan, Pakistan, Lebanon, Ukraine, Spain, Norway, Mexico, Germany, Estonia, Indonesia, Finland, Spain, Turkey, Greece, the Netherlands, Kazakhstan, and Sri Lanka. So that's really a very impressive reach all around the world. It's truly a global endeavor. So far in our study sessions, we have explored the prologue. We've had a look at the first stanza and sloka. Today's session will be the last session for the school season. There will be a break, a holiday break, just like schools in the physical world. And we will take that break to reflect upon what we have learned over these past number of months. In this time, I would encourage you to think about any possible questions that you may have for future sessions. And of course, you can bring these questions to the email address, and these will be addressed at future meetings. So with that, I will hand over the floor to Vladimir Yari, the president of the Adamant Lodge and head of the Moscow School of Theosophy, and to Eugenia, the project coordinator of the Theosophy Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Dear friends, so we are starting our online class for the Secret Doctrine, and today we're exploring the Secret Doctrine, first stanza or the first sloka. And today we are here with our interpreters, Olga Tomchuk, Alexandra Bobko, and Sergei Nasetkin. We would like to thank all for the preparatory work and, of course, technical support of the seminar. Thank you, Luke Michael Ironside, for your cooperation and implementation of this project. And thanks to everyone who joined the workshop for their interest to the study of the Secret Doctrine. So today we have first sloka, second stanza, and we live the present day in certain energies, Nidanas. Each new day is unique and does not repeat itself, never. Hence, the thought that can be expressed with the understanding of the Secret Doctrine today in the energies of this day in a special way will be special according to the combination of Nidanas. energies according to color chakra. So we are welcoming Vladimir Vasilyevich to present us the energies of the day and the specificity of this day. Hello, dear brothers and sisters. Well, as a rule, every time our school starts its work with the thought of the day and the thought that is given to us for the whole year. And today's thought is the following. One way leads to acquisition, and another way leads to nirvana. And the thought itself can be affirmed by the century, the year, the month, week, and the day. And the totality is being invested in the day. In other words, we have to get to the state of a synthetic understanding of the present. Let us try. The year of the century of the white dragon. Here. Year of the white bull. Month of the black dragon. The week of the blue boar. And the day of black rooster. Let us try to understand these Nidanas according to the meanings. The century of dragon, Nidana dragon, is a symbol of wisdom, karmic intermediary, bhava, or being. Element, ether, and white color symbolizes the perfect form of the idea, of the thought and its form. It is very important. One can imagine that now the century itself is in its ether. It's such a combination that the wisdom itself as a possibility is present in the whole century. And this possibility, of course, should be explored by us, but at first we have to notice it. But for this, we should be attentive. Thus, the totality, white dragon, gives the possibility to the human consciousness to formulate the direction of the thought for the creation, aware creation of the present, in our case, for the common well-being. Thus, it happened that this century of the white dragon, we have the possibility of ethic thinking. This white dragon is under the ray of Saturn. It is green energy, green ray, which if you pay attention to this color, the green color is in the middle of the six-ray star, tetragrammaton. This green color itself symbolizes synthesis or completed thought form, which means awareness. And as a consequence, according to the evolutionary law, we start working to for the common well-being by being aware about the karmic laws and the laws of reincarnation. Because there is another meaning of this Nidana, a karmic intermediary. And at this crucial point, of the white dragon being karmic intermediary, setting a task for every one of us to learn this synthetic thinking. We have to learn how to think independently of the thoughts that are being brought from outside or whatever we have read somewhere. Only thoughts that are born in our heart. This is the real human being mind and thinking. This is the wisdom in action. And karma, as you know, the law, it is action and its symbol. The karmic intermediary, it's a dragon, which means the human being is being born in exact defined state of mind, of consciousness. And we are talking about creative being, creative human being. If we acquire this independent thinking, synthetic thinking, we will become in harmony with the century of evolution. We will feel ourselves at real present and be conformed to the evolution. This is the dragon that we have today. I would continue this connection because the dragon always during has always symbolized the cross. And at this cross, there are four Nidanas. Dragon itself, white dragon, and in front of him, a white dog, which symbolizes personality, the firmness. And as a rule, if the white dragon, we have another white element in front of it, white essa. So the dog, white dog, is a completed personality, affirmed personality. And in order to achieve harmony between wisdom and personality, we need two more nidanas. And one of them is bull, blue bull, and blue goat in front of this blue bull. This is the field through which the thought is passing, or the image of the thought passing, characteristic for the century. But we should start by dragon because it is the main symbol. We can imagine it as a focus, a lens. Thus, wisdom is created. We start the movement here in order to achieve personality, which could express the wisdom through its firmness. As a dog, you see, we have to pass clockwise and meet the first Nidana, which is blue goat. The blue goat symbolizes the strength of Kriya Shakti. The Kriya Shakti strength is pure impetus or pure intention, pure thought, that pure intention of the goat is love. And where love is, there's always purity. And according to this combination of passing clockwise, the meeting point should occur, so the pure thought should appear, so that the next principle of the white dog gets affirmed at this pure love energies, and hence it will correspond to the wise beginning. In this case, it will be able, the personality will be able to evolve. Now let us continue the circle. We are moving clockwise and we meet the bull. The bull symbolizes realization. when the wisdom of the dragon, after having passed through the blue goat, the pure thought was realized through the bull by the personality, by the white dog, will manifest wise being, and a new circle will get started. Like this, we passed 1 hour, or 12 hours, or we have passed 60 years by this circle. And by this, we will start creating a new existence in our new incarnation. But pay attention, it happens every minute. We meet these principles every minute. If we count from the dragon white, every 15 minutes we meet the white dragon cross. 50 minutes have passed, we meet blue goat. 50 minutes passed, we've met a white dog. 50 minutes passed, we've met a blue bull. Basically, in 1 minute, we can leave these states and these possibilities of having pure thought, firmness, our conviction, the wisdom in our life, and realization of this love, the wisdom through our own perception of reality. And this is very important. But also, we have got a triangle of the century. This triangle includes 3 Nidanas. These 3 Nidanas are interchanging every 100 years. If the previous century we had an image of a white mouse Nidana, which corresponds to karma, and we know what situations we had in the 20th century, but it was our karma, the humanity karma. Before we enter the century of wisdom, we had to be purified. And this was the 20th century. The 19th century, white monkey. This is the triangle, white monkey, white dragon, and white mouse make it visible for the energies of the centuries. 19th century was a century of beauty, of elegance, and the white monkey is the symbol of harmony and beauty. This is why there were many creative movements that started at the century. Now we are living the century of dragon and the year of white bull. The year of the white bull also symbolizes ether. Nidana symbolizes ignorance. Yet a very important point is being important for this year, our own ignorance, which we all have to feel. And when we feel this ignorance in ourselves, as a rule, we need a master, a teacher, a guide. So this year, I would say the understanding of hierarchy should occur. This year is very unique in these terms. Not because this is the year of implementing, of realizing, but what power are we talking about? The power of potentially hidden power of understanding. But till a certain period of time, this principle and the human living in this year can be felt only through a certain circle, like a cross, bull cross. We have a bull, in front of the bull we have white goat, love, and through this realization, through material things, through the fire dragon and fire dog. So we have to go through the fire. Ether should pass through this fire energies. Here, you can see it. Then, why am I explaining this? In order for you to understand these moments which connects our life, our mind, our psychology, our reflection should understand these laws of reasons and consequences which are manifested by Nidanas. To understand, these are centers, these are focuses which awake in us certain energies, certain potentialities. These energies may be dormant, but when the moment comes, this impetus awakes this possibility in us to work with this energy, which is potentially there. So, for this, we need to be aware of these laws. It is extremely important. Look, the cross shows us that through the principle which correspond to the cross of life and to the sanctuary, because the principles, the nidanas, are the same, only focuses may be gathered in different symbols. Now in the bull, in realization, and realization of this impetus, understanding of our own ignorance, lets us understand and discover our cognitive abilities, and through these abilities, we can understand the hierarchical basis. That's why the pools in the nature they get a ring in their nose because they're being led, but they're being led in the spirit. This moment is extremely important. This year, there is a psychological aspect of the bull, sincerity. Bull is sincere. It sincerely does not know what it is doing. It is ignorant of it. And through this sincerity, the human being which gets into these energies, we may say that this year we all became bulls energetically. Energetically, we are all realizing our ignorance in some way. But those who are attentive may notice the state of a human mind, the state all humanity is in. This century, psychologically, we become dependent of something, which points in the world work the way that this mobility on different planes of our mind as a humanity moves according to these energies, realizing its ignorance. And thus we can see who aspires to what. And the Kalachakra itself, the laws of Kalachakra, gives us the possibility to forecast, to feel, to touch before it happens. Our feelings become refined. They go to the astral world. We acquire the ability to combine, to match the worlds in ourselves by understanding the process of energies and how they act. Because you know that all the world, everything manifested in this universe, is nothing but manifestation, but expression of these energies, the power of the God's will, which is symbolized through the aspect of love. This love is acting in every one of us, in every cell. We have this divine sound because we reflect it. We are absorbing and reflecting this divine sound. Of course, the knowledge of Nidanas, this secret, mysterious Nidanas, and they can only be understood individually. It is very difficult to describe them. We should live them. We should feel them. We should let them go through us as a filter. These energies will touch the bottom of our souls by penetrating the core of things, the essence of things. This energy can transform us, can awake different abilities and potential powers in us. Because if we sound in harmony with these energies, which is only possible by being aware of these energies, we will start sounding in harmony and awakening the divine power and calling it to life just by being aware, by using the laws of being and applying them in certain way to the wheel of time, to color chakra. This is the symbol of the calendar. You should understand that we are capable of practically using ourselves, practically doing something for the common well being by awakening all the potentiality in us by this absolute conscious, by absolute mind and its absolute understanding. Do you understand how important it is? Also, in the bull, the symbol of bull can be united by a triangle with other three principles. White bull, white rooster here, and the white snake. These three basic principles. Snake is a symbol of mind, rooster is the symbol of logos, word, the most mysterious, the white rooster, the master, the teacher, and the bull, the one which realizes. This is the spiritual triangle of the year, and these principles, or people born under these principles, they dominate the humanity nowadays because of the power of the spirit. The spirit reflects these energies, and these principles, even unconsciously, can talk about the eternal, stable power of love, these fire energies. And they let the wheel of time move. But pay attention that every one of us have these nidanas in us as principles, because in every human being, as on the wheel of time, all 12 nidanas are symbolizing the circle. which symbolizes the humanity. It is natural that as drops accumulated it becomes an ocean. Every human being has these potentialities, these 12 big important Nidanas, 12 main Nidanas created Kyan Kogans. They created these Nidanas, which became zodiac. And they created them according to the laws of necessity. They were aware of the creation. And the human being generates nidanas by ignorance. And what happens? The karma of humanity depends on the whole humanity as it is evolving in one or another circle, in one or another race, in one or another time, century, year. Which civilization developed these potentialities of the divine nature of the human being? It depends on karma, on this Nidana's generation, by their ignorance, by their illusions, and that's why sometimes we are running like a squirrel in a wheel. What should we do? We should transfer our mind in the center of the wheel. We should become the axe of life. And how can we get there? Only by following the hierarchy of light. And according to this moment, we could say that the laws of being let us create by ourselves our own conditions that we could create by our own will. We create our karma because we have a Nidana mouse. We can create, we can accumulate the possibilities for these creative abilities that we have. We have Nidana of dragon, we are always wise, we can choose the way of wisdom. We've got Nidana of boar, which corresponds to the blue boar week. Now we are living in the week of the blue boar. Can you imagine that this week is associated on the wheel of time with theosophical mind? Because Elena Petrovna this year founded Theosophical Society in New York and London. And this year is the symbol of the Theosophy. But also, if we calculate, it's the ninth principle or the ninth Nidana, starting from fire rabbit. Fire rabbit is the first, then dragon, and now it's the ninth principle. And you know that there was in the ninth creation. The ninth creation is the theosophical mind or illuminated mind, illuminated consciousness. That's why we say that the theosophist is the first after gods. The boar has got three principles: the triangle of the spirit of Theosophy, blue boar, the blue goat, and the blue rabbit. Symbolize the following. The blue boar symbolizes the consciousness, manifests any idea, manifested consciousness, awakened consciousness, which can manifest, realize any idea. Next principle, the blue goat. Clockwise, we meet the pure thought, pure love. So, according to the awakened consciousness, the pure thought and mind and love are present as energies which led this consciousness to manifest the idea of the Logos or the thought of the Logos. The next principle is the rabbit. Rabbit symbolizes knowledge. It means, according to awakened consciousness, purified by love, by the pure thought, this mind can manifest the knowledge of the spirit. Rabbit manifests the knowledge of the spirit. And this triad, consciousness, love, and knowledge, this is something that is symbolized in the theosophical mind. Exactly in the spirit of Theosophy, we have these principles. And compassion is necessary condition for Theosophist psychology. This how Theosophist psychology should be. Love every being in this world because everything was created by love and nothing can be separated one from another because everything is consciousness from elementary things up to gods. Everything. This is the state of mind which we should elaborate, we should adopt as the habit of our thoughts. Everyone who aspires to improve the life of the universe, of the world we are living in. And today we have the day of Black Rooster. I haven't told you yet about the cross of the boar. I will add something now. The boar as a focus, the weak is focused, the theosophical consciousness. In front, we have a blue snake, which means the joy for the boar can only be generated when this consciousness starts living. Uh, we, and starts being aware by thinking and then acting. But in order to pass to action and to feel this joy, we should pass through the field. There is the notion of imagine every cross of life and every principle. Today I talked about the dragon, boar, rooster. All these principles themselves are focused and they pass through the field, through material things. And the philosophical mind also passes through the matter of the fire element. The theosophist works and combines his nature with the fire, the power which is always hidden, but always this fire, divine, sacred fire, is burning in every spirit, in its potential as in the germ, which should be open, should understand its power in harmony with the fire of space. So Theosophist or the boar should pass through the fire dog, the firmness of the spirit. The personality should affirm itself in the spirit and through the fire boar, which symbolizes the wisdom of the spirit. By the way, fire dragon is the symbol of Maitreya, the master, which comes and prepares for the new race, for the sixth race. This moment is very important.
So the day of the black rooster, the cross I've shown you, is symbolized by this figure. The black rooster is in Taurus, and Taurus is a symbol of absolute mind. This absolute mind is pure because it has nothing inside it. It is absolute in its pureness, but in this mind there is the whole potentiality, whole capacity of forces that can bring us to knowing. All forces of mind, all forces of awareness, all forces and everything that can let the human being wake up his or her conscious. All this potentiality is there, and rooster as logos, as the power of logos, is the power of sound through vibration that can be determined as potentiality's power, that puts rays of Gnomon, of rooster, of Nidana to space. These rays go sevenfold immediately at 49 planes, putting opportunities and capacities given a human being by these eternal love rational forces, and that are correspondent to the universal principle, Brahma. We can imagine ourselves as a single unit, and we are Brahma. We are the existence itself because there is the whole potentiality inside us. And only our determination in this sector of Taurus, in this potentiality of these forces, you can see there is the main hierophant or snake symbolizing mind, mind in its potentiality. And potentiality of these forces which exist and are present inside each and every of us. We can say that they are present in every atom, not only in a human being. A human being is the synthesis of all, and the synthesis of what? The human being contains all atoms inside. The human being is diverse. And in this diversity, this rooster, with the Neoplatonist school emerging, or the older Theosophist school, in this rooster, there is a Camerova school emerging. Then we even didn't know when this school was started. In this rooster, this Theosophy school emerged, guided by Vladimir Anatolievich Bakanov. We were revealing, we were starting, we were living through each Nidana. Now, we have such an opportunity today. We have an opportunity to get back to that year, 1993, last century. And can you imagine that right now we are in last century in today, and all opportunity and potentiality to wake up inside of us by this voice of silence, that potentiality of our hearing, of all our senses, of our vision, of our smelling capacity, of our touching capacity, according to the knowledge of time. Right now, let us consider this variation. There is the hare opposite to the rooster, and that field through which the rooster goes, there is the horse and the mouse. Horse yellow and mouse yellow. These are also very important symbols because mouse yellow is the week HPB was born. So we come, according to the voice of silence, through the secret doctrine brought by HPB to this world. We have an opportunity to reveal capacity of our mind by disciplining it. Let us now create a synthesis of age, year, month, week, all in one unit. Then the thought of the day tells us that the only road brings us to wealth, to eternal eternal getting of things for ourselves, but the road to nirvana is actually different. The main thought of theosophical conscious and the week of boar does work actually. There is wisdom present. So age and year are realized through accumulation of divine knowledge, experience we live through. So then everything will come. And what will come? This day tells us. You can hear the voice of the God, the voice of silence. We can hear our higher me inside. This me can talk to us today. And believe me, right now it actually is talking to you. Let us come to the stanza itself. We have got acquainted with time, with the law as a cross and as a triangle, but still there are pentagram that is personalizing all the 5 principles and different elements of the one principle. If we take dragon white and put dragon white, dragon black, second, third, blue, fourth, of fire, and fifth, earthy. That is the way pentagram is. We can also put the 7 ray star and see other aspects that these Nidanas contain. So the 7-fold star and 6-fold star and 9-fold star work this way. So all these symbolic understandings or language of wisdom expressed through symbols inside of the circle, they let us accept and be in accord with laws, because the universe actually lives according to these laws, and we cannot be apart from it by our egoism, by our selfness, tell that it doesn't concern me. No, actually it does concern everybody, and it's really important moment, and we should note it for ourselves, accept it as something that is given to us, that everything goes according to the law. But how? How to do that? How to be in accordance with these laws? Sloka 2 actually tells us there was no time. It was containing in endless
предлагают шлоки первой станции.
University. So let us come to the slokas of first stanza, and sloka 1 tells us about mother giving birth, or the space that cannot be known. But why can it not be known? It is explained because our human mind, intelligence, is not capable of going in depth of the secret of existence. It is not capable of that, and we take it to our mind that what is actually the point in reflecting? There is no point then, and in this case, our mind becomes calm according to the something that cannot be known, that divine entity in its absolute character, in its character that cannot be comprehended. We become calm. And after that comes next one. Second sloka tells us that what we can see and watch. And regularly we can watch that time was not, or we become people without time. We are in length of time, in duration, and everything temporary is in depth of this duration, because this is the program for experience. Time itself is as a program for experience. It is, so to say, intelligent higher Nidana of absolute, the absolute. This Nidana is, of course, not in a direct sense, but it is like a reason of everything that has no reason for itself. But the time was not. We watch it, and for us, this condition of mind calmness, HPB gives us this meditative way from first pages of the Secret Doctrine and brings us to that, the most important point, by the method that we actually not used to. It's intuitive and abstract way, when something abstract as non-existence in its existence becomes itself. So this becomes sat. So this condition of sat synthesis, when the mind is empty, and at the same time it is full.
но полон чем?
But filled with what?
Потенциальностью.
With potentiality.
Потенциальность это
This
выражается
potentiality
простым
is
языком.
expressed by simple words, clarity.
Вот как мы пробуждаем
That is
потенциальность
the way
в
we
себе, успокаиваем
wake
ум.
up potentiality inside of us by calming down our mind. We bring up clarity inside, and thanks to that clarity,
Само созерцание
the contemplation itself
это такая, как бы сказать, лученосное вспахивание.
is like
Вспахивание полей буд.
blowing
Буддической природы.
with rays
И
the
эта природа
Buddhi
буддическая, она начинает
fields, the Buddhi
сиять.
nature, and this nature starts to
А в
glow,
своем сиянии
and in its
скрывать
glowing
сущность вещей.
it starts to
Способность такая
reveal
возникает.
nature of
Скрывать
things.
сущность вещей
There is such a
естественным
capacity
образом.
to reveal nature of things by natural way.
Вот в таком представлении
That is understanding
вот
in
эти
which I see
шлоки,
these
первой станции.
slokas of first Dhyan stanzas.
Очень часто слышали мы
It is
такие
really
разговоры,
often
когда
that
в
we
церкви
heard
Евгения с вами
such
говорили даже.
conversation even
О том,
with
что
Eugenia. We were talking
вы
about
что
that.
туда лезете? Там
Why
абсолют,
are
там
you
где
going
хотите.
there? There is
Сказано
absolute. There
не
is
было
nothing
ничего.
to do. It is said that there
А оказывается
was
там
nothing.
всё.
But actually there is everything
Вот
there.
это ускользает
This goes
от
away from
материального
us.
сознания.
Glimpses away from material
Ускользает.
conscious.
Почему?
Glimpses away.
И
But
вот
why?
здесь очень
And
важный момент.
here is an important
Ускользает всё
moment.
потому,
It glimpses away,
неосознанно иерархия.
eludes, because there is no hierarchy in our mind.
Пока иерархия неосознанна,
Till hierarchy is not something we are aware of, there is no student
понимаете, и вся потенциальность
to understand that.
познавательной
And the
способности
potentiality of
спит.
the mind
И это
knowing
называется
capacity is asleep, and it is called
спящим сознанием.
as sleeping.
Способность познавать спит. Но познавать
Opportunity.
одно, быть
But
не познавать. То есть
one thing
мир
is
проявленный.
to
Это форма.
understand
Ученые
the
работают в этой области.
existence, the revealed world,
Но есть еще великая
and
наука
scientists
философии.
work here. But there is also a
Это
great science of
познание
theosophy
для божественного
and
мира, божественной
understanding of the divine
мудрости, которая
wisdom for the
должен
divine
пробудить свое
world
сознание, он пробуждает
that
только
should be
сознание
revealed in our consciousness. It can
Ничем
only
другим.
be known through
бесполезно.
understanding of
Бесполезны
morality.
любые
With other ways, it is all
физические какие-то
useless.
упражнения,
Physical
психологические
exercises,
упражнения,
psychological
умственные
exercises, and
упражнения. Всё это
exercises of
бессмысленно,
mind, it is all useless, has
пока
no
не
sense
соединится
till
интеллект и сердце. Или
intelligence
ум и
and
сердце.
heart, mind and
Вот
heart
как только
come
такое
together.
соединение происходит, оно
As
происходит
soon
только
as
при осознании
this
иерархического
unity
начала.
comes, and it can only come
Погружение
while
начала.
awareing of
Дело в том, что
hierarchical beginning,
почему
no other way. Why?
очень много людей,
There are so many people, masses of
назвавшихся
people,
философами,
who have
назвавшихся
called themselves
философами,
Theosophists, who study the Secret Doctrine,
но не исполняющие указы учителя.
but do not follow instructions of the teacher.
Все находятся на периферии.
Everybody is far away from the center,
То есть психически
and
постоянно
they
живут.
psycholize or psychologically they live in a way
Все
that
знают,
they,
потому
as if
что
they knew
познавая
everything, because
вместо него
they got knowledge that is not theirs. They are not. This knowledge is not born inside of them. It is brought away from external world by their desire to get new and new knowledge. But all the wisdom is inside of spirit, inside each and every of us. So we should reveal and wake up this spirit, and it can be woken up only by loyalty and respect. If you know the hierarchy, if you are aware of it, then you'll be loyal, then you'll be respectful, and then we can follow instructions. Because the teaching is where the HPB says, inside the school, inside the book, says that she is guilty only of following this way of really respectful light touching of the Western conscious without any huge rules imposed on them. Otherwise, they'll think that I want to dominate over their conscious. And I made this mistake, but inside I had only feeling that everyone, because there is such a rule, because everyone who is interested is the one we should give a part of knowledge to, because we should enlighten the capacity to go inside of them. It was the only thing that let her go away a little bit from this Eastern discipline of teacher and student. Right now she says, I will restore these things I created by my mistakes in order not to create such a mess inside of Theosophy society. And right now I would like to follow advice of HPB and begin from telling you all to learn what the student is obliged to do, what should be his attitude to the teacher, to the teaching, to the society where he lives, to conditions, to the family. There is the discipline of relations between student and teacher, and it is the only thing that will help us reveal potentiality of spirit. Nothing else can help. And therefore we should have responsibility. Giving away knowledge like that is actually what we give away, because the space already has this knowledge crystallized in the space of humanity, because unconsciously people sometimes say wisdom even without being aware of that, just repeating because like people used to tell that, used to say that, but they have not experienced these spaces then yet. Nevertheless, this knowing of Kala Chakra is the most high knowledge for humanity. There is no higher knowledge on earth. That is the knowledge of cosmic laws, nature laws, and laws according to which our conscious develops. Not only our conscious, but also conscious of gods and spirits that are all on this ladder of development, and therefore the secret should remain the secret in order to keep the humanity safe. from the preliminary giving away this knowledge, because otherwise this knowledge will cause the huge damage to humanity and to the world. So we should give knowledge only by doses. If you are actually ready to sacrifice your life to the common well-being, then you need to be aware of hierarchical existence, or to open your hearts, to open them for your closest people, but to open them the way you also can close them when the time comes, because sometimes people can offend you, people can smash you, people can throw dirt at our hearts. So everything should be according to the purpose, purposeful, in accordance with the laws, with the people's conscience. This science demands highest responsibility. If we really want to know, then the hierarchy is what will save us. Thank you very much.
Большое спасибо за импульс и обозначенное направление аспектов времени.
Thank you very much for the impulse and for
Если мы говорим о том, как важно
getting the
систему тайной
aspects of
доктрины,
today. If we see the way we should understand the secret doctrine with Kalachakra, then Kalachakra actually reveals qualities of time.
и поэтому, зная это, мы можем прилагать.
And by knowing this, we should implement this. Today, we'll try to concentrate on the main aspects which are presented in the second sloka and the comments to the second sloka by Elena Petrovna Blavatsky. We'll also try to analyze the thoughts through the planes of being and analyze certain symbols to precise some notions that Elena Petrovna gives in this sloka. And the most important in the studies of diverse material, which is provided in the Secret Doctrine, is to have from the very beginning the idea of the whole structure as a system of the cosmos, nature, and human being creation, the movement and differentiation of unmanifested and manifested, the breath and the movement, the length, duration of time, the sound, the word, the speech, etc. And when we concentrate on the beginning of the movement and its end, there comes the understanding of the one essence, the unique fire, the unique breath, the unique cause. Then we can notice the difference between the breath, the movement, the emanation, vibration, impetus, differentiation, and the forces, or the guides of these forces and their manifestations. The first volume of the Secret Doctrine is particularly complex and difficult to understand, but only when there is no system. As soon as you put the system together for yourself, you will not get lost in the concepts and principles, the movement that were described in the stanzas. If we have an opportunity to examine carefully the symbols that operate on each plane of being according to its own law, but also according to the unique and supreme law, We often ask questions of such nature that at each seminars you show the same scheme of the planes of existence, planes of being, and approximately we are telling the same thing. This is a particular feature which is very fine until a person cannot perceive the energies of the subtle plane. Everything seems the same, and only later, so striving for the knowledge of the truth, working on ourselves, improving our understanding, abilities, and skills, the ability to distinguish and recognize will come. And then each plane of existence, each plane of being on which only one symbol is drawn, will seem infinite. For on every plane of being, there is life, the life which is born by the impetus of awakened thought. And then the mystery disappears. Elena Petrovna often told that there is no mystery because she had this ability to recognize. So when the mystery disappears, whatever is hidden becomes manifested, clear, and understandable. And what's more surprising, it becomes easy. Then every stanza in the secret doctrine, every notion seems clear and simple because we will know where is its reason and its consequence. Because we understand at this moment the natural character of spirit, natural character of the unique reason, and their movement and transformation according to the unique and supreme law. And then the quality of time will relieve the possibilities and abilities to know the past, the present, and the future. Today, of course, we've prepared a presentation on some points that we'd like to draw your particular attention. So, the second sloka, first stanza, there was no time because it dosed in the depths of duration. From the very beginning, in Dhyan, Yelena Petrovna provides us with clarification about these two aspects, the duration and time. Duration is the only eternity which is not relative. Because of this, the time which is relative uh, presents this difference in their relativity. The time is finite, but duration is infinite because it's similar to space. It does not have a beginning or end. As yes, Yelena Petrovna wrote in the Secret Doctrine, the duration is where there is nothing. Let us see how it happens. Uh, the question by Yelena Petrovna, can duration become the image of something or anything at all? And she answers, yes, of course. And this image of something is, and by something is the space. If we define these 2 points as mathematical points A and B, point A is something and point B is by something, the distance between these 2 points, these 2 dots, is the space and its movement around. The unique point C merging with A and B, and duration appears. And we have this material line, the present, which divides this circle. The time appears. The time can be divided, and duration that cannot be divided. The time is divided in the duration.
Задает вопрос в тайной доктрине,
The question in the secret doctrine,
что-то должно существовать
in the comment, something
внутри
should
времени и пространства.
exist within time and space,
За пределы
and
времени и
something
пространства.
must go beyond time and
И этот
space.
вопрос
And this
во всей,
question
в описании всей второй шлаки является
in the description of all the second sloka is the key.
должно существовать внутри времени и пространства.
Something must exist within time and space, and something must go beyond it, time and space. Let us
Которые нам дает Елена
consider
Петровна в комментариях.
some points that Yelena Petrovna gives us in the comments. She directs our thought towards the understanding that nothing remains unchanged on earth. And we know that according to the law
А на
of
земле, значит, как и на небе,
likeness,
не остается
what above, same below, nothing remains unchanged, even where there is a plane of being unmanifested and manifested, where there is time and where there is no time.
Давайте еще раз рассмотрим
Let us consider and
некоторые
let us
аспекты планов бытия.
remember some of the aspects of the plane of being. There are 7 of them, and they are divided as following through 3 upper planes, the planes of the spirit, unmanifested, the unique,
План богов,
plane of gods,
план духа,
the plane of spirit,
третий план,
the third one,
план прообразов,
the plane of
это первая
prototypes,
форма, не форма.
which is the first form of no form where all the prototypes get together, all the powers for only one action.
Собрано все,
When everything gets accumulated there, everything that should be manifested, Manvantara will start, the time will start, the cycle of movement will start, the differentiation,
первый план разума и
and the first plane, the plane of mind and creativity,
формирование
will begin. The second plane,
материальное.
material
Образование
and
вещества,
formative plane,
мирового вещества,
creation of
вещества
substance,
разных
substance of
миров,
different
которое в
worlds,
духовном состоянии,
which are in this dense state, in this buddhi light of a subtle world, start to transform or plow the worlds by densifying them. Here we have elements, we have more symbols on this plane because it is closer to our dense world, and everything ends on the physical plane, physical world. So the time, and Yelena Petrovna told about the illusion which is being created by the combination of and sequence of our mind states in the eternity. This illusion is created by the successive alternation of our states of consciousness throughout our journey through eternity. We cannot say that when the time was dozing in the depths of duration, there was no time, but it was at its potentiality. If there was no playa, as we understood at our last previous uh, online classes, yet this hidden breath, hidden movement appeared, and the sequence was defined even without being manifested. It does not exist. The time is dozing there where there is no consciousness, where the illusion may arise, because the time is the present, which is manifested by our feelings. Then it is translated into future and our memories from the past. By understanding these planes of being, we can consider the sphere of ideal, these 3 higher planes, and the zone or the sphere which remembers the past. It is surprising because it looks as a paradox. How come that in the differentiation of time and manifestation, the future finds itself in the sphere of past? If the thought does not help us to understand the sequence, the thought about the law of likeness, then we'll understand then when this transition to the memories of the past occurs, these four manifested planes, we can show them here. This will occur as a manifestation, expression of all the experience, all the incarnations. The experience was gathered and it should be manifested. This is what this transition means. The transition of accumulated experience through the memory of the spirit. It has a cycle, the beginning and its manifestation. And of course, the evidence of this separation of time is the present, where here in the dense world, the human being can face this evidence, this impression, the impression of passing through, the changing of these impressions, the transition from the past by the mathematical line through the present to the future, which changes places. There are the impressions of the momentous electric sparkle as an impression on the retina on our eye. So the human being on an object is not only what is visible at every moment, but it is a totality of all his states, a moment of a sparkle, a moment of its fading, its passing and disappearing. It is the whole way, in spite of the short moment of it. It is something visible. Without the unique law, we can also see it. Any sparkle, its reflection on the retina of our eye, and this law can be manifested and fixed in our own mind. If a human being or any object is the totality of all their changing states, and what does it mean? Different changing states of totality. It means manifested and not manifested. It means the moment of climax and its disappearance. This is all totality is about, the moment of appearance and change in state in material form before disappearance and passing away from our earth. Let us see how Elena Petrovna describes the second sloka, these totalities. These totalities, or sum totals, are different changing states from the beginning of creation of the material form till its disappearance. These totalities exist eternally. They pass through the matter in order to exist forever in the past. And thus we have in this separation two eternities, the past and the future, and their combination is duration. And only in one of them everything has its real existence. The moment of passing through the mathematical line of the past, from the past to the future, and this is the present, or how we call it, the real existence. Yelena Petrovna tells about another image, how it happens. When the log fallen into the water of the sea is also consists of the section of the surfaces which corresponded to the mathematical planes. It divided and connected the atmosphere and the ocean, the upper level and lower level, the past and the future. you can see that there was a splash of this moment of connection and the moment when it touched the surface and coming back to the calm surface, the duration. So the time is just a splash, a sparkle, is a disturbance on this plain existence of duration. Hence, time is illusion. Hence, the future, so the human being or an object, is this division and division of the past and the future. If these two eternities is duration, means duration, so we can see how the duration, which does not have any beginning or end, uh, but joining the circle, and the time uh, divides this duration. How come the time is divided in the duration? Let us try to consider it on the planes of being. The
The way we divide
divisibility of
time
time
is
is
the
the
speed.
speed.
So
So the
the
lower
lower plane
the
of
plane of
differentiation
differentiation
and
is,
going down is,
so
so
the
the closer
closer we get to the dense
get to the
world,
solid
the
world,
lower the pace or
then
the speed
the
is.
slower the
The
speed it
upper
is.
planes,
Higher planes that
we
can be
can
shown
show them
here, or they
here.
show at the screen.
The higher
Higher planes
planes
have the
have the
highest
highest
speed,
velocity
up to the
up to
absolute speed
its
where
or
time
their
is
absolute
not,
speed, where there is no
where
more
it comes
time, where it
together with
merges
duration.
the eternity. So when
So
the time
when
in
time
its speed
comes
acquires the
to the
highest
absolute
absolute
speed,
speed, it
it is
merges
together
the
with.
absolute principle. So if
So
space
if we get
defines the
together
divisibility of
with
time as well as
to the point where
disappearance
time
of
is
time,
not,
so the human intellect or mind defines
then
its existence in time. In the condition of the dense world of forms, a human being, the human should develop the speed of mind close to the speed which was defined, determined by the evolution, by this period. And if before 1 year corresponded to 3 years, now 1 year corresponds to 100 years. Thus, we see the events are accelerated at the moment of time that we are living through. And if we do not acquire the pace of thinking which is needed, according to the conditions of the density of time, will press on us and destroy us. This is how karma is catching up with us. How does it do it? By destroying, by diseases. It catches up with us by our past. So our conscious does not correspond to time or does not correspond to the speed of time. So we have to refine our intellect up to the heart energy and acquire a pace of thinking. How can we acquire this increased pace of thinking? By purifying our mind, by getting rid of negative past, negative manifestations of the past, or negative habits we acquired in the past. Because now there is a period of the fire energy, and this period is defined by the race we are living with. This race has passed its densest state of form and has begun to refine its subtle bodies rising along the arc of ascent. It's the fifth race, the fifth subrace. The fiery energy comes by its change in the cosmos, in nature, in man, by increased vibration and increased speed. If we conform to this, if we develop our thinking or capabilities, skills, abilities, then karma will stop catching up with us with diseases and destruction. It will stop catching up with us with the past, and the renewal of karma will begin. Thus, the future will become real, And there will come a correspondence between the speed of thinking and the speed of time. In this way, the mind gains freedom of movement in the dense world of forms and becomes receptive to the speed of time change, merging with it. Thus, the density of time ceases to affect the person. So, we considered how time is divided in the length in duration of space of absolute.
These are the aspects of initial principle, because the space is there where there is nothing, and nirvana is actually maya or illusion. Because the end, HPB gives such an association of this solidity of mind, gives it in accordance with the mind of the ant. She writes that the ant has the same great intelligence and even the higher thought, but cannot express it by words, and has the very high thinking capacities in addition to the intelligence. And understanding of space and time and the ant has not the same as we do, and we have no right a priori deny existence of these levels, even because we have no understanding of them, because this fact that we have no understanding of these levels above or below, it does not mean that intelligence of ant and his thinking capacity is not. It does not conquer the it is not contrary to the fact that they exist, that we do not understand what it exists above or below. Because the same way you should see, according to the law of sameness, that is the same way in humanity it happens. So often, ideas of some people are not accepted by other people because the first reaction is denial and non-acceptance only because the person has no understanding of something else and it seems to him or her that it does not exist. But we should understand it and analyze it through all the evolution of humanity as scientists or researchers. We can see the researchers whose ideas were not seen or perceived by the society. And if we do not know something right now, it does not mean that it does not exist. So that is why HPB says that this intelligence, if we cannot understand and perceive intelligence of the ant, it does not mean that it is lower than ours. Probably it is not that trained intelligence, more spiritual intelligence can understand that. What is that? Any intelligence that is spiritual is more perceptual to the heart's energy. It is one with it, and then there is understanding of other characters, spiritual character. With the animals, the high triad is sleeping, and in a human being, it is a fully revealed monad. It has a self-awareness of progress, and inside the monad that there is the fire grain, the grain of the human spirit. Still, it is still not awakened. So you can see then how it happens that our trained intelligence cannot imagine material or plane of other levels, but this idea can be solved, tasks can be solved by one intelligence that is getting subtle or getting acute up to the heart's energy and gets disappears in the heart. Heart always knows where the limited mind can only suppose. Then HPB tells us about existence, that existence is not what exists, because it's not equated to a limited point. Beforehand, HPB writes that non-existence has no limit, and then gives such a thought that the existence itself is equal to non-existent or equal to unlimited state. So what is the limited state then? It is the thing that has beginning and end. How can we say a limit, or how can we call the limited state that due to Maya believes that it is not limited? We can say that it is a state of limit in the mind that does not know that it can be liberated. But as soon as mind becomes liberated and free, the notion of time disappears, but it does not know about that. The mind does not know, because any knowledge about that is already illusion. Can we say that the sea has the mind, understanding of time, looking at a rhythmical way of waves go to the shore? The same way we cannot say that the Absolute has the mind. It does not have any mind, any desires, any thoughts, because it's absolute thought, absolute desire, absolute conscious, absolute all. And the existence is the only thing that has its beginning and its end. Existence that has beginning and its end, and is what determines the uniqueness of Sat emergence. Sat is not existence because it is always, and nothing was before that. It begins where it was not before. So this light, or one of the main Brahman's characteristics, these Sat existence characteristics, emerges there where nothing was previously, and starts where nothing was before, because it is the only ever existent reality, the divine essence that is there, but about what we cannot say that it exists, because it's the absolute thing that is actually being. Sat is one of Brahman's characteristics or existence. Then HPB leads us to a description of Devakan, where we have no understanding of time, and there is only the state of present, no past, because otherwise ego would regret about that, and there is no future, otherwise ego would be dreaming about that. In Devakana there is only the present, that is the state of bliss, where everything is right there, and there is no understanding of time. Everything is living, and everything is a divine dream, night dream, that cannot be divided with a reality. There is a intermediate state between the two earthly lives in which the ego enters, Atma Buddhi Manas, so the Trinity transformed into one. This Trinity, after becoming separate from Kamarupa and from distribution of low principles on earth, goes there to this Devakhani state. And the Secret Doctrine, HPB, further describes these periods where logoi are born, and she translates that the first logos is translated as the eternal Mother Father, and it corresponds to the point that as a state, as a space, is everywhere and nowhere. It emerges as the final culmination of the first point, as its revealed trinity or Mahat. When the point is revealed in its trinity, when the first logos moves, it leads to a certain culmination of the three that come together in one, and there is Mahat, because Mahat is a universal soul with mind. It is divine source of ideas, uniting ideal levels of prototypes of all things to objective and subjective world. Mahat is the first product of Pradhana, and Pradhana is the divine spiritual substance, because as soon as the spiritual substance comes, it corresponds to the first revealing of Mahat. Mahat is the first principle of objective universe that is perceived through divine feelings but not human feelings, and but if we count it as the third one, but in its essence it's according to Buddhimanas and bringing them together. Let us see how this transformation from first to third comes. There is the first logos, the circle with the point inside with no name and no volume, no signs or indications. It is the line that comes across the circle. It is actually the first point of bringing together the eternal Mother Father. The second logos contains already the third one. The third one is the revealed logos, or the word. So the second logos, in its internal essence, in its potential, contains already a revealed word. What is it? It is the sound, because the sound is also the word as unspoken thought revelation. What is unspoken thought revelation? Because of this, revelation will further become the revealed logos. That is the way we can, through the scheme, see how this word, sound of unspoken word, Akasha, becomes the revealed source of ideas. Mahat, in its keeping this divine mind's light, is what is revealed at our level. That is the revealed logos. So we can say that Mahat is a revelation of unspoken word. Unspoken thought, I'm sorry. It is actually its thought or thinking one, through which it comes. For heart itself unites two lines in one and determines the space where the high mind connect. Here we have the structure of existence planes, and this line is the red line, a picked line. The fifth step of Fohat determined it. It is the first stage of creativity, of Fohat, or acting. There is where the eternal mind acts, and we can see the sevenfold star and understand why Mahat is the seventh creation of all the seven creations combined. It is revealed, the third one, it is threefold, and it is revealed in seven. We can see it in the scheme. So what then should exist inside time and space, and what should go beyond time and space? Inside time and space there is Mahat, or mind, that is slumber until the concerned cycle. And what goes beyond time and space? Things beyond time and space, this is mind. When the cycle comes and when time begins, so Mahat, or mind, determines in mind, beginning of time, that is not, there is only duration where it slumbers or is in calmness. Time was not, for it lay asleep in the infinite bosom of duration. The space that is, was, and always will be filled with duration. And in duration, time arises as separateness. When consciousness appears and delusion appears, illusion is separation, reality is unity. Mind, Mahat, exists unmanifest within and manifested externally. It is monad, the completed light that persists during the pralaya period and has life when time or Manvantara begins. Time lay asleep for them in eternal duration of an internal layers of duration for mind. Mahat was still dozing. There was nothing because Manvantara had not begun then. And all these states that we looked at today, thanks to the Secret Doctrine, thanks to HPB, we saw what fills this white disk from exile. We should understand that there is potentiality, that it was not, but it will be when it will be revealed. And right now we are in state of white disk on the black background. So that is the way the main aspects we bring towards you, according to the second sloka, touching of time, duration, notions, their uniting with the human mind, Mahat, because it determines it. We also managed to see different duration of time according to the speed and the period we live through right now, giving this material to the world. We also saw how the planes of existence can be unlimited, despite the fact that every plane of existence has a crocodile blue. Get into the symbols, bringing us to secrets. There is no secret then, and we can talk about life simply, sincerely, openly, because why not we talk about light of mind, because this period comes true and it should be in the human mind. So the Secret Doctrine is given to make human being it. When there is knowledge, then the fear disappears, freedom appears, and we know we are eternal as students in centuries. Human is in man centuries and keeps grain of monad. And due to this light, human being can move and improve aspects of time that was not, that is inside, unrevealed, but will be revealed by our actions, our word, our beauty, our harmony, responsibility, our life, use of practical knowledge, esoteric, occult knowledge of the Secret Doctrine given by HPB. Thank you very much for being with us. This great moment is where I give word to Luke Michael Ironside for a final word of this seminar.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Vladimir and Eugenia for that wonderful, informative discussion of the second sloka of the first stanza of the Secret Doctrine. It gave us a lot to reflect upon and broadened our understanding of the topic. This sloka in particular deals with with very abstract concepts such as time and duration and the relationship between time, duration, and space. Some of the key points that we explored today was the idea of time as being itself merely a construct of the mind, having no fundamental existence outside of our perception of it. We saw time as being something subjective relative to motion and periodicity, rather than as a fundamental existence itself. As William Q. Judge stated, time does not exist outside the inner circle of this little world. It's fundamentally caught up in Manvantara, or the period of manifestation. We saw the relation between time and karma, that really time is our methodological attempt to sequence the chain of causes and effects, which is karma, in relation to the environments that we inhabit. It's our finite attempt to make sense of the changes and the concurrent chain of one cause leading to another effect that is constantly in motion. Time, therefore, helps us to make comparison between the past, the present, and the future, but it's a false comparison. It's a comparison that only is relative and which only applies to the lower levels of existence. We see that in the period of unmanifestation, or the long sleep of pralaya, that there is no time, because there is no differentiation in which to measure time. There being no separation, no differentiation between this and that, there can be no time whereby to make such a comparison. Time can therefore only be measured in a period of Manvantara, and it's fundamentally temporal, while the essence of reality is eternal, bringing us again to the idea of duration and the eternality of duration. Some of the other ideas that we explored today was the idea of the ways in which, as humanity, we reflect the harmony of the divine. The idea that as above, so below. And this occurs on the level of sound, of appearance, and spirit. We are reflections of the divine, and this is inherent in our very nature and in the process of our evolution. We discussed compassion and the necessity of developing the trait of compassion as Theosophists. The idea that everything in the world is worthy of love because everything was created from love. That there is nothing truly separate from one another, but that all is fundamentally connected, down to the atom up to the highest gods. And through this evolutionary journey, or through our pilgrimage, and through the forces of karma, we are developing our potentiality and ascending towards the higher life. And as HPB mentioned regarding the Secret Doctrine, its intention is to lead towards the higher life. The attainment of knowledge is not the final goal of the study of the Secret Doctrine. Its true purpose is the awakening of the spiritual wisdom inherent within. This already exists within us. However, we lack the key to its understanding. The Secret Doctrine is a teacher which equips us with that key to unlock our own divine potential. And as HPB advises, and as we discussed today, the student needs to become aware of their own obligations to their own self through their commitment to their self-development and self-transformation, to their teachers and respect for the knowledge and the wisdom that they have gained, to their community, whether this be a spiritual community such as the Theosophical Society or other social structures which they inhabit. We exist in an interconnected web. No one is an island. All is fundamentally one. Therefore, we need to become aware of our place in the grand hierarchy of existence. We need to recognize that we stand upon one rung of the ladder of evolution, that all life came from the same origin and is traveling along the same path to the final destination of unity, the Alpha and Omega, which is our Genesis and destiny. The first volume of the Secret Doctrine is like a maze to one who doesn't have the map to its understanding. It's therefore necessary to approach its study in a systematic method, with an awareness of its structure and its fundamental principles, which is exactly what we have been doing through this online study class. So with the immense amount of knowledge that we have explored and delved into in just these couple of first slokas of the first stanza, we can see the breadth of our endeavor, how much we're going to cover in the study of this work. And it's imperative that we take it just one step at a time rather than to jump ahead in bounds and leaps. We need to take one small step at a time along this mountaintop of in ascending this mountain of spiritual attainment. And that's what we've been doing very carefully and systematically through these online studies. So now that we've come to the end of this first semester, if you like, of study of the Secret Doctrine, we'll go away and reflect upon and meditate on everything that we have learned and everything that the course leaders have so generously expanded upon in their fascinating talks. So I'd like to thank you once again and hand back over to Eugenia.
Thank you. Thank you for your final and complete concept that you sum up all of our seminars by highlighting the main points that we have explored. Thank you all for your interest in the Secret Doctrine. We thank the translators who helped us communicate, Sergei, Alexandra, and Olga. They helped us understand each other today. As Luke Michael Ironside said, we are at the brink of a summer holiday, summer break, and our next lesson will take place on September 16th, and we'll talk about third sloka, first stanza. We hope that during the summer holidays, you will be able to study the Secret Doctrine material on your own and read books that help in the study of stanza, the Theosophical Dictionary by HPB, the key to Theosophy, the protocols of the inner group where students ask questions, and Elena Petrovna asks. There is Judge book, wonderful book, which tells a lot about the notions, and of course Agni Yoga by Elena Ivanovna Rorik, which is the culmination of the Secret Doctrine because it reveals many concepts and semantic meanings which describe all the decrees and materials our teachers left us so that we can understand the Secret Doctrine. So all the materials that were presented today, we will send them for sure on your email addresses. If you have questions, you're welcome to write to Luke Michael Ironside, and he will answer you. Also write letters to us. We will be glad to clarify and answer all your questions. So we are glad to be with you today. We're happy and we wish you great holidays. We hope you will implement this knowledge that you acquired, apply them to your real life, and very soon this real life of the third sloka, first stanza, will be revealed to you too. Thank you all for finding time and aspiration to knowledge of the divine truth. All the best for you all. Light and love for you. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Goodbye. See you in September, dear friends.